Good morning, 8th grade. Please place your name and class and today's date, December 3rd, on the top of your paper. Today and tomorrow, we're going to review main verbs and helping verbs. You may remember from last year that we discussed 4 principal parts of the verb. And that's what our discussion today and tomorrow is going to be about. I'd like for you to look at the chart that consists of 2 rows at the top of your page for lesson 18. Again, this refers to the principal parts of the verb. In review, the base form is simply the present tense form of the verb. You remember from our lesson the other day that my base form could be talk or it could be talks. And what does that depend upon? The subject. Its number. Is it singular or plural? They talk. She talks. The base form is the present tense verb. The past. We also talked about it. It takes the base form of the verb, the present tense, and to the present tense, it adds the suffix d or ed. And now, the 2 other forms, the 2 other principal parts of the verb are called participles. Present participle always ends in ing. Always. The past participle always ends with ed. Base form, present. Present participle plus ing. Past. Past participle. Again, each of these 4 principal parts of the verb are now going to be used with a helping verb. And I've tried to simplify it on the side of your page. You may care to write these down as well. I talk, you talk, they talk, he talks. Present participle, talking. He is talking. She is talking. It is talking. You are talking. They are talking. I am talking. When I change my subject, when the number of the subject changes from singular to plural, and or when I use you or I need to use is, am, or are. The same is true with the past participle. Has or have talked. Once again, look to the side. He has talked. She has talked. It has talked. They have talked. I have talked. You have talked. These are the most common helping verbs that are used together with the present or the past participle. So we practice the same as what we have been doing in the past. I find my subject, and once I identify my subject, I can choose the correct helping verb and the correct participle form, one of the four principal parts of the verb. My base form, that's the present, and my past form, these two we spoke about in the last lessons, 17.1, 17 part 2, and review of 3.5. Now you can either draw two lines or highlight the helping verb, or you can draw two lines and highlight the participle. My suggestion as we go through these sentences is to first find what is the participle verb that is being labeled in the sentence. Winning, arriving, worked, joining, barking, going. Do you notice it in number 6? Arrived, painted, working, played, looked. These are called participle forms. What does my participle end in? ing or ed? How do I know it's not a present or a past? How do I know it's not a present or a past? How do I know it's not the base form or the past? And some of you might be remembering, I heard this last year. And the difference is that in order to be a participle form, it must contain a helping verb. So it's not just talked, it's going to be has or have talked. That's what makes it a participle. And we see each one of these has a word in parentheses that comes before it. So how do I know if I choose is, am, are, has, or have? How do I know that? Ricardo and Craig. Team. Sally. Rusty. Class. Find the other subjects. Buses. Workers. Bike. Sisters. Dad. Why do I want to find the subject? Because I can tell if it's singular or plural. What difference does that make? Well, it makes a big difference. Because now that determines whether I'm going to choose is, am, are, or has or have. And so you can be glancing at this when you make your selection down below. Alonso, single person. He is winning. Ricardo and Craig. Have or are? Oh, wait a second. I'm still confused. I'm going to go back and look to the top. If I have a present participle, is has or have even an option? No, because that goes with the past participle. So I go back to my sentence. Ricardo and Craig are. Our team was worked or had worked? Had. Oh, I'm really confused. That wasn't even a choice up above. I had has or have. Remember? Has, have, had. Sometimes, if it's in the past form, I need that. He has, they have, or had. Again, was isn't a choice. It's not a choice up here. Sally is. Again, has, have, had is not a choice. Rusty is. Again, has or have is reserved for the past participle. Class is. Buses had arrived. How do I know? Buses were arrived? Again, it's has or have or had. The workers were painted. The workers had painted. Has, have, had. Bike is, am, are. Is working. Mason sisters have played. Has, have, had, plus the past. Dad had looked everywhere for his keys. In review, the helping verb that combines with the past participle of the verb is have. Its forms include have and has in the present, and had if it's in the past, something that happened before. Has, have, and had. Again, when I take a look at these helping verbs within the context of the sentence, I can find out relatively simple how it is that each one of these is able to be combined to match the front part of the sentence, which is called the subject. I'm strongly encouraging you to list these items down. You can only use is, am, and are with the present participle. You can only use has, have, or had with the past. You can't switch them around. You can't say has talking. You can't say had talking. You can't say have talking. These are reserved for the present. These are reserved for the past. My takeaway from today is all verbs have four principal parts that are used to form the tenses. As we continue to review these tomorrow, we want to be sure that we understand the four principal parts because we're going to be talking about in upcoming lessons about the perfect and the progressive tenses, which are formed from these four principal parts of the verb. That's our lesson for today, Thursday. Tomorrow, Friday, we'll take a look at some of the items that are contained in the back part of lesson number 18. Be sure to keep these papers together. Don't take them apart. Don't pull the staple out. And when we're done, we'll put them together back into the folder. Have a great day.